Hey guys, it's Nick, and it's preview time for your 2024 Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, it's that time of year again as we're on the around the corner time for Chicago Blackhawks hockey. And well, it's a whole new era of Blackhawk hockey going into this 23-24 season where we're not going to have familiar faces such as Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane on this roster. It's a whole new era, and the new era begins now with the likes of young hockey phenom number 98, Connor Bedard, and number 27, Lucas Reichel. Like Reichel going into his first full season in the NHL, and Reichel should honestly, how has looked really good. This is not a year where we're ready to contend yet. This is a year to move into the development phase. Last year is the year to tank hard for Connor Bedard, and we won the draft lottery drafting Bedard first overall. This team has a lot of bright pieces going into the future of this organization to once get back to winning some Stanley Cups. We also could be seeing the likes of defenseman Kevin Korchinski make it to the NHL. Do I think Korchinski plays the full season? Probably not. But we're seeing a movement, a youth movement into this team. But that being said, we also acquired some key veterans this past offseason, like from the likes of Taylor Hall and Nick Foligno getting traded to the Blackhawks from the Boston Bruins. Corey Perry getting traded from the Tampa Bay Lightning to the Hawks, and Perry signing his 1-year extension. Same with Foligno. He signed a 1-year extension with the Hawks, same contract. And then signing out of the free agency, Ryan Donato. And honestly, these veterans are going to be key help points for this team, such as show the players some roots and how to play in the league. Like Taylor Hall was a former first overall selection to the Edmonton Oilers all the way back in 2010. And he's already been playing on the same line and teaching Connor Bedard the roots in the league. Watching one of the preseason games, Hall grabbed the iPad and was teaching Bedard some things that he may have saw that could help Bedard out. And that could that could really benefit the young youth movement we're going to be seeing in this team. This team's going to have growth pains, yes, but they're going to still be a fun team to watch. With how Luke Richardson handles everything, this team could be very much a competitive, yes, not the greatest team, but still find ways to win games. So let's get into my season preview by talking about the season predictions of where I think the Blackhawks stand in the Central Division. I'm not going to give you any predictions of how many points like Connor Bedard will get. I don't want to jinx it. So let's get into this season preview with the season standing prediction of the Central Division. All right, as you can see, I already have the standings pulled up where I think teams are going to lay. Yes, I think the Hawks are still going to finish last place in the Central Division. And I think Dallas this year will win the Central Division. With that being said, I think this division, yeah, a lot of people do think the same thing. This is the worst division in the NHL. I think there's only going to be 3 teams coming out of the Central Division going to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and those 3 teams winning the division is the Dallas Stars. Coming in at second, it's the Colorado Avalanche. Coming in at third is the Minnesota Wild. I think the Pacific is going to come out with 2 wild card positions. And then you see at fourth place, I have Winnipeg. Fifth place, Nashville. Sixth place could be a surprising team here is the Arizona Coyotes. Some people think they're going to be the worst team in the division. Some people think they will be the second worst team. I honestly think they're better than the Hawks and St. Louis Blues, who I have below them. St. Louis at seventh and the Hawks at eighth. I don't think the Hawks are going to be one of the teams like the second worst team in the NHL. I don't. I think the Hawks improved upon and where they were last year. Last year they were the third worst team in the NHL, but I feel like this team could be still in the top 5 of the draft, but improvement. Last year, we ended up with a total points of 59 points on the year. I could see improvement up to 68 to 70 points this season. I really think this team is more improved upon last year's roster. So that's why I have the standings the way I have it. Yeah, we're going to still be a bottom 5 team in the NHL, but we're improving. This is a team still developing, finding their game, finding where their identity for the NHL, because this has a bunch of young players with veterans who won't be on the team when this team is ready to contend again. So that's where I have the standings going into the season prediction. And well, let's get into the rest of the season preview, shall we? As you saw from the standings, yeah, I think the Hawks are still going to be the worst team in the division, but not as bad as you think. I think the Hawks will be within the division, like in that bottom 3, but the points are going to be very similar to each team in that bottom 3 of the Hawks, St. Louis, and Arizona. I really think that's how it's going to be. But going into the season for the Hawks, I have to say this. Yeah, we aren't going to be the greatest team, but it's a time to just jump on the ride. A lot of the Chicago sports teams are mediocre and don't have a future. Well, if you haven't already, jump on the ride now for Chicago Blackhawks hockey. This team has a bright future. We have a once in generational talent coming into his own in Connor Bedard. We have Lucas Reichel, who's showing to be a solid number 2 center and could put up the points for this team. We have a lot of young players coming in this season, finding their game. Kevin Korchinski, yeah, I think will make the opening night roster. I don't know if he'll stay up on the Blackhawks all season, but if he's here till winter when we're getting close to the World Juniors, that's good to see. And then maybe send him back, send Korchinski to play for Team Canada in the World Juniors. Makes sense, and maybe let him go back to the WHL with Seattle after the World Junior tournament is over. But we have these veterans coming in. Wearing the A's so far in this preseason have been Connor Murphy and Steph Jones. They were wearing the A's last year with Kane and Toews as captains as well. Toews being the C, Kane wearing an A as well. But the alternate captains so far from what we've seen have been a mixed bunch. Connor Murphy, Steph Jones is a lock right now because they were already associate captains before this season. Nick Foligno's worn an A. Corey Perry's worn an A. Tyler Johnson's worn an A. Nikita Zaitsev had an A on. Taylor Radish as well. But my prediction is I think we see the rotation of the A third A going to either Foligno or Perry in this season. And then how I see this working out, the Hawks power play should improve. We have Connor Bedard's shot, who's one of the best shots in the league already at his age of 18, is actually a big statement to say. We have good puck movement from what I've seen the first 2 days of preseason hockey. Not the greatest on the power play, but they were starting to move the puck well and getting opportunities off. This team has some bright parts to it, and the way Luke Richardson is as a coach, I trust him. He can get this team more wins than people give him credit for. Last year, it was proof. He was able to get this team to stay together after the trade deadline. Before the trade deadline, when you knew was looming, the Hawks were still a competitive team each and every night. And the way Richardson is, I think that's going to stay the same. This is a team that's going to work hard each game and still, yes, there's going to be growth pains, but it's going to be a fun team to watch. So if you haven't yet jumped on the ride and want to watch a fun hockey team, join the ride and hop on. Let's watch some Chicago Blackhawks hockey to once again get back to some greatness for some Stanley Cup banners. So down in the comments down below, I want to hear what your key prediction is for this season. I'm not going to give you a prediction on player stats because I don't want to jinx them. If you want to give a prediction of a player stat, what you think they're going to get at the end of the season for points, go ahead. Down in the comments down below, I want to hear what those type of thoughts are. And thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, hockey is this around the corner, and the new era of Chicago Blackhawk hockey starts soon. And let's go Hawks!